sometimes when you carry your baby, what will be going on in your mind is, what if I throw this baby out? What if this baby fall away from me? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite nurse, Amara. In today's video, I want to discuss with us things that nobody told me when I was pregnant, things that I never knew that I would experience, even though I'm a nurse, I'm a midwife. But you know, there is a clear difference between theory and the practical aspect of medical practice. If you're a new mom watching this video, you can actually prepare your mind towards what you are going to see, because it's always good that you have it in mind that these are the things that you are going to experience before you face the experience typically. So, and these things that I'm going to share with us is purely what I experienced and just small from what I saw others experienced. So the first thing is, immediately I gave birth, I was afraid to lash my baby to the breast, as I was afraid to attach the baby to breast, because I've already seen mothers that immediately after they give birth and you encourage them to attach the baby to the breast, they will be screaming in pains. Guys, I was so afraid because I have seen it, but I don't know how it feels. Let me tell you the real fact, it was so painful. It was a painful experience. After my own lasted for about a month plus before I stopped feeling that pain. I felt that pain for as in, see, breastfeeding is not a walk in the park, especially for the first 1 to 2 weeks of delivery. So it was very painful. Nobody explained to me how painful breastfeeding can be after you gave birth. Then the second thing also is I have to deal with the pain of episiotomy. Episiotomy is an experience that if you don't have it, you will not know how it feels. So I was given episiotomy, and because my baby is big, I was given episiotomy, and that episiotomy site was so painful that I was selective of where to sit. Like this chair that I'm sitting on, when I gave birth, I wasn't allowed to sit on this chair, because if I try it, before I will stand up, my perineum would be as if it was breaking. So it was so painful to sit down on the episiotomy site too. And the worst is that my episiotomy even got breakdown. It wasn't infected. It wasn't also as a result of hot water. Maybe it was the person that sewed it didn't tight it well. So it was another experience on this. So I went for the sewing, as in my episiotomy was sewed for the second time. Guys, the pain was out of this world. So nobody explained that to me. So if you're a first time mom, just know that you may have episiotomy. Now this episiotomy also, in women that give birth through CS, they may not know what I'm talking about in episiotomy, but those that give birth through CS, the pains that they experience is the pain at the incision site. Oh God, I've seen a lot of mothers, as in after delivery, the pain they feel is out of this world. So nobody explained that to me. Then the third thing I experienced is the lack of going to toilets always. I thought that in the third trimester that if I give birth, that I will stop frequent urination. But well, it was as if I was still pregnant, because I was going to the toilet every minute to urinate. So frequent urination continued. The fourth one is nobody explained to me that my first stooling will be war. will be war because of that episiotomy. So my first stool wasn't pleasant. It was so difficult. I have to be packing the stool, as in I was feeling the urge to go and defecate, but because of fear of whether the episiotomy site will break again or not, I was packing stool, and this caused me to be passing flatus up and down, guys. Then the fifth thing also that nobody told me was, I know that I'm pregnant, that mothers that delivered newly, that they don't sleep. But guys, until you experience it, you will not understand what I mean. Lack of sleep. In fact, ever since I gave birth, I have not slept for 5 hours straight. So it was something else for me. I couldn't sleep because I couldn't sleep initially when I gave birth, because each time I would just be looking at my baby. So I'm the one that gave birth to this beautiful girl, or I'll just be like, oh God, you're so wonderful. I'll be looking at the baby. So sometimes in the night, instead of sleeping, I will be looking at my baby all through. Then aside that, another thing is, when I will not want to sleep, that's when my baby will wake up and the baby will want to feed, guys. And another thing that caused me lack of sleep sometimes is visitors. When visitors come and you want to rest, some will be annoyed I didn't come out to greet them. So most times visitors disrupt your sleep pattern. But I'm not trying to say that visitors are bad. No, they are very good. I enjoy every visitor that came to my house, but we are not going to deny the fact that most times a woman that gave birth may feel sleepy when you even came to visit her. So I want to also use this to appeal to us. If you go to visit a woman that gave birth and she couldn't come out to greet you, please understand her and understand the situation that she is in. Then the seventh point also is, as a midwife, we encourage mothers breastfeed the baby on demand. Whenever the baby wants to breastfeed. Guys, I never knew that breastfeeding on demand can be breastfeeding more than 2 times in 30 minutes. Just if you know what 30 minutes is, you know how small it is for you to breastfeed more than 2 times in 30 minutes. And this baby, they don't feel like their tummy is still small, their stomach is still small as at that time that you give birth to them. So I was breastfeeding like no man's business, and it wasn't what I read, guys. Then the 8th point also is I have to deal with look here. Look here is something like period, but it's not period. The blood that comes out after you gave birth. Some people, their own is much, but mine is not. So look here, I know what look here is, but I know for some first time moms, look here is after you give birth, there are some something like blood that will be coming out, so you need to put pad. Ideally it's supposed to last for a week, but some people, their own lasts more than that. So you need to prepare your mind for dealing with lochia. It looks like period, but as time goes on, the color will change. That is it. Then another point, the 9th point here is the involution of the uterus. As you are breastfeeding your baby, your uterus will be contracting to come back to its pre-pregnant stage. So the involution of the uterus, it happens, in fact, that first week that I gave birth. So as a new mom, when you give birth, you notice that when you are breastfeeding your baby, that it looks like nafo or something like that. You don't need to drink any medicine to stop that. Is your this thing that's trying to come down. Then another thing you also need to deal with is the big abdomen. Some women, when they give birth, they will be like they want their tummy to come down to the pre-pregnant state. Oh, this tummy took 9 months to be at the stage it was now, and there is nothing you can do for it to come down immediately. For me, when I gave birth, my tummy came down, but now that I'm breastfeeding, my tummy is something else. Then another thing I experienced is, I was being so hungry, as in I was becoming hungry. In a day I'll eat more than 6 times, and I think it's because of the breastfeeding. And any day I try not to eat up to that, I try to eat just 3 times a day, my breast milk will not flow well. So I ate and I'm still eating, and I don't owe anybody apology. So but it was something that I didn't even know, that woman that gave birth, that they feel hungry easily. So I feel hungry because I breastfeed my baby. Then another thing that you have to deal with is sometimes you deal with breast engorgement. Excuse me. And also is you deal with breast engorgement. Like there are some nights that if I lie down on top of my breast, I wake up and the breast will be so painful and so hard. So, and sometimes it comes as a result of breast milk. If your baby couldn't finish or empty your breast and you take the baby to the next breast, oh my God, it may cause your breast to enlarge, and it is so painful. Then another thing that didn't prepare my mind is undue advice from people, because they know that you are a first-time mom. This person will go. Could you imagine that someone came to my house just about 2 or 3 days after I returned from the hospital, and my baby was crying, and the person was like, this baby, there is the stomach that is disturbing her, that I should go and buy one medicine and give to my baby. I said, thank you, ma. So you'll be faced with a lot of advice from people that think that they are the best position to advise you unsolicitedly. So when they are giving this advice, it's left for you to know which one to take and which one not to take, and also to know that this advice they are giving you is not from a place of harm. Sometimes it's from care. They want to care for you, especially when you are trying to establish breastfeeding. And initially I didn't talk about inability to establish breastfeeding and the worry that comes with that. Guys, initially when I gave birth, it took me about 4 days before my breast milk started flowing. So, and some people, they will be so worried. So you need to prepare your mind. Your breast milk may not flow even for 5 days or 3 days. So you just need to be taking a lot of things in order to help out. And the first milk that comes out is known as colostrum. So these are the things that I faced as a first-time mom. And sometimes you'll be depressed as a result of lack of rest. You may be so stressed up because you couldn't sleep, because you don't have time for yourself again. Everything resolved around the baby. People only ask about the baby. No one tries to ask about you. So the stress, in fact, sometimes I cried, but my husband was there. So, and that emphasizes on the need to have supportive people. In fact, this omogo of a thing is not just for your mom to come. Is a kind of being supportive to the mother that just gave birth. So as a husband, as a friend, as a sister, you need to be supportive to your friends that gave birth newly, because this is what they want at the time, because of the stress that they are going through. Guys, I know you're enjoying this video. Please, if you are, just like the video, leave a comment, and also subscribe to my channel if you've not done that. So then another one is you may have headache, and this headache can be from lack of rest, because I am supposed to have talked about this. Guys, nobody told me, although I already know that those that gave birth, they don't normally sleep. But guys, this one is so deep. Lack of rest and stress accompanied by breastfeeding can cause you to have serious headache. Another thing is, nobody told me about sweating. I was sweating like no man's business. I will sweat under the breast, I will sweat on the armpits, and it makes me to be refreshing all the time. So you need to prepare your mind. You'll be sweating, and even at that, also you may experience loss of hair, as in postpartum hair loss. Like, I don't know how to show you, because what I'm wearing is wig. This is my hair. This is wig. I started noticing that my hair is pulling off, as in it is pulling off, and I know it's as a result of the birth of the baby. So after giving birth and you find out that you are losing hair, please guys, don't worry. It is a normal thing to experience as a postpartum mom. My cloth is no longer all my clothes that I wear, because I was breastfeeding, because I cannot wear gown. Now if you want to breastfeed, you cannot start pulling your gown. So I have to change my wardrobe for the meantime to accommodate the new baby. Then another thing is also, some people are overwhelmed with taking care of a newborn baby. Guys, see, it wasn't difficult for me because I'm a midwife. I've handled newborn baby, but as a first-time mom, you may be so afraid. Sometimes when you carry your baby, what will be going on in your mind is, what if I throw this baby out? What if this baby fall away from my hand? What if this baby falls down and does the... You just need to be positive and tell yourself it's not going to happen. So as a first-time mom, will be faced with handling a baby, and they are so fragile, especially bathing them. So these are the things that I experienced as a first-time mom, and I wish that first-time moms out there should have this in mind, so that when you start seeing all these things, it will not be so overwhelming to you. And I know that you enjoyed this video. I'm so stressed up. That's why you are not even seeing any smile on my face. I'm so stressed up today. So having said that, I'll see you next time in our next video. Bye.